This is my work experience video presentation. So for my work experience, I did football coaching with Watford FC, where I planned sessions and then delivered it to a team of 17 to 19-year-olds. But as well as this, every Monday I would deliver at least 2 hours of sessions to two groups. So the first hour would be ages 6 to 9, sorry, and the second hour would be 10 to 13. But for this video, I'll be predominantly focusing on the 17 to 19 age group. So for one of my sessions, my main focus was, or my main aim of the session was about keeping possession and switching the ball. So the first objective that I had created to achieve this aim was having the two teams play a possession game. So this allowed me to see if I had needed to make any changes to the pitch size or the one-touch area, which I'll go on very shortly. But but predominantly the first objective was to get the players all warmed up, moving, playing possession, getting used to the area, as well as seeing if I need to make any adjustments, like I just said. But the second objective was to introduce the one-touch area. But instead of just the one-touch area, I would introduce the scoring system of how they can score. So each team has to make a total of 5 passes. So you use the one-touch area. So this is just bounce passes. So a player passes it in to the box that a player is in. They bounce it out to a different player. That counts as one pass. So once a team had made a total of 5 passes or bounce passes, they can then have the opportunity to score. But once they've had their shot, they need to make another 5 bounce passes in order to have another opportunity at scoring. So after that, it was the first to 5 goals. So obviously, it's just keep flowing quicker. The third and final progression or objective that I laid out was to introduce a switch of play. So if a successful switch was made, that would be a total of 3 passes, and this would encourage the players to focus more on switching the ball rather than going for the one-touch area, as switching the ball had a higher scoring value. But I found that at the end of the session, my strengths were my confidence, so I was able to go out there, get all the players in, say what I wanted them to do, what was the aim of the session, what they're going to do, and how it was all going to work. So obviously, with my confidence, I can't get below the players. All the players will listen to me if I'm showing that I know what I'm talking about. So they can't really sack it off, and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, he actually knows something. I'll take part." But organisation was another strength because I found that if you're not so organised, they'll be like, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing." But if you are organised, you have everything laid out already, so you don't really need to make any last minute changes. So if everything is organised, then it just all runs smoothly rather than having it in block sections where the players have to wait for loads of periods of time. And my last strength was taking authority of the players so that they were fully engaged with the session. So this meant the players didn't go off and do their own thing. They did exactly what I wanted them to do, and so that they're fully engaged. So they don't doze off, just not bothered. Everyone was fully engaged, wanted to take part, and it just made the session a whole lot better. It was a really high intensity. So if I wasn't taking that authority role, they would have just rolled over me, and the session would have run very well. But for my areas for improvement was my progression. So in terms of progression, this is about setting out in different stages. So it will start off stage 1 is a possession game. Stage 2 is the one-touch area. And stage 3 is switch of play. But instead of me doing it in different sections, I did the switch of play. No, not switch of play. The possession game. But in the second block, I did the one-touch and switch of play. Which means there was more ways to score or tally up points. But the issue was there was too much information overloaded at once. So halfway through, not everyone was sure how to score. So they were getting some cheap passes in that they weren't sure about. And it caused a bit of, what's the word for it? Some of the players were getting upset about it. That makes sense? So obviously they're like, oh, how did he get the point? Even though it wouldn't have been a point, or maybe it was a point. It depends on the situation. But if I was to set it out in different sections, so it'll be possession, one touch, then switch of play, it would have run a lot better. The players would have known how to score or how to get the opportunity to score, and then it would have run a lot more smoother, and all the players would know what they're doing. My second objective or area for improvement was being able to adapt effectively with the number of players. So this was when some eventually sat out due to injury. So what happened? A player went in goal for one of the teams, and the other one sat out in the same team. And we had a floater because we had like 18 to 20 players, and there was one floater, and the player that sat out, I put the floater on their team by mistake. So there was an overload on one of the teams, which made it a whole lot difficult. But if I was to make it an attack versus defence, and had the defence team with the lower numbers and the attack with the overload, it would have made a lot more sense. And if I were to put goals on the opposite side, on the attacking side, it would have gave the defender team an actual objective and still given the opportunity to score, rather than just getting the ball and clearing it or just keeping the ball. They had an actual objective to go to. And then with the switch of play, I didn't really have any targets. They just have one player on one side, one player on the other side, and they just try and switch to each other rather than having attack and defence again. But the attacking team had 2 target men on the side that they can play to, and then the wide man can cross it in. So it's still creating more opportunities, and it's still getting my idea of what I wanted to do or what I wanted to aim for was switching play and keeping the ball. So by having 2 target men on the side, this would still be able to keep possession because they're moving it around, as well as switching the ball and crossing it in. It's still creating more opportunities. But the ways to further my own development can be done through undertaking my FA Level 2 coaching badge, because I'm currently on an FA Level 1. If I can do my Level 2, then I'm higher qualified, my knowledge of coaching is still growing, and then obviously I have more experience and I'll have a different perspective on coaching and how to develop my own players as well as improve my coaching. Second one is spend more hours coaching in spare time to gain more experience, as well as developing knowledge of coaching in general. So this could be part of my FA Level 2, or just going out and just being practical, actually getting involved, seeing what sessions work, what doesn't work, being more self-reflective and seeing my areas and strengths for improvement, or my areas for improving my strengths. And then the third one is visit other coaches and take notes on how they coach and how does it relate to me and my team. So how can I adapt it to my needs so they can have a men's team, whereas mine is still under 19s. So I need to adjust it so it's best suited, and observe other coaches like about their coaching style and how they deliver their sessions. So how do I deliver my sessions compared to theirs? Are they more firm? Are they just here you go, do whatever you want? And their coaching style, are they command style? Do they just give you the information like a lecture? Or are they guided discovery where I just let the players do their own? Or is it a constant feedback between player and coach? What works best? What would best suit my players and my needs? Would it best work for me? That kind of thing. So if I do those things for my development, my knowledge and my experience of coaching will be a lot better, and then I'll definitely see improvements in my coaching in the near future.